Okay, this look like, yeah, we are recording. So let me come back to what we were doing like last time. We have a file where we have countries. In this window, we change the size and we can see all the country. So we have, let me see if I can do something better. Okay, so here we can see the 35 countries that we have. So let's say that I want to show, let's do one more exercise. I want to show for each continent the country that have the larger population. So for example, let's say for America, let me sort it. Let me see what we have. So this is America, 0, 1, 2, 3. The population starts in 3. Sort plus 3, numeric minus 4. So here, the population sort 3 for America, yes. 0, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I know what is wrong here. The separator is a comma. So the most populated country, for example, in America is United States. Let's verify what we have in Europe. In Europe, it will be Germany in our database. In Africa, it will be Ethiopia, which have 114 million inhabitants. No? Okay, but I want to do it in Python. So let's do example, a file that is called most populated.py. Okay, so the hash bang will be USR bin Python 3. Okay, so they are going to pass me the file, and I want to show the most populated in the 5 continents. So first, I should check that the person did specify me the file. So I'm going to import if the length of sysargv is not 2, I'm going to help the user to use the command. So print usage, and this I'm going to send it to the standard error. Then I will show the command name, which is in 0, concatenated with file name. You need to put a file name here. And I'm going to exit, specifying that if I exit here, the error was 1. Let's verify that what I've been doing is right for now. So this file is called most populated. I'm going to change the mode of the file and give the execution right to the user. Mostpopulated.py. So let me run mostpopulated.py. Okay, if I don't specify the file name, as you can see, it shows me how to use it. And I can I can check the error status, it's 1. Now, if the person specified the file name, oh, here it's sys, it's not system, it's just sys. Exit. So I'm going to exit with 0, no? So the error status is 0, as you can see. Okay, so now we are going to open the file. Remember that when we open a file, I might don't have the right, it might don't exist. So of course, I'm going to do that with caution between a try and expect. Accept IO error. So if there is any problem, I will say that there were a problem with the file. So let me put here put problem opening the file. Problem with the file. Problem with file. And I'm going to specify the name of the file. So the name of the file is, let me put it here in a variable that we will call file name. So file name will be the same as sys.argv sub1, no? And here I'm going to put file name. File name. I'm going to exit with 2. So what I'm going to do here is to try to open the file. So to open the file, we use the open function. I'm going to open it in read mode. I'm going to open the file name, the file that is in file name in read mode. So let's try that to see. Yeah.
The last one it says file instead of file name on the print statement.
Here? Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you. Okay, so let me do it with a file that does not exist. For example, this file that does not exist, country tree. So it's a problems with file, country tree, and if I look, the error status is 2. It's correct. Now, if I specify a file that exists, error status is 0, which means that I came here. Of course, I should have done. I open a file, I have to close it. This is the less that I can do. Okay, so we are going to read line by line and get the most populated country for each continent. So what do you have in mind? What can we do? We can define, for example, we can define pair of variables for each continent, but we can do something maybe a little better. So what do you think? If we do something a little better, we might do what, for example? We can have dictionaries, or we can have lists. What do you want to do, dictionaries or lists? Huh?
We can do lists.
Okay, we can do lists. So for example, if we do a list, we can have a list for population. Population. So at the beginning, let's put in this list. We have 5 continents. So we are going to put, let's put false 5 times. Do you know how to put five times? I can do that, of course, but I can do something better. What can I do? I can do false for I in range of 5, isn't it? It will, I want to create a list with false, false, false 5 times. So let me enter in Python to review that. Python 3. For example, if I do that. False for I in range of 5. Look at. So I did not have to type false, 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 false. And this false mean, for example, let's say that index 0 is, let's see, let's order them. Let's put some comment here. So we will have Asia, we'll have America. And which one comes first? America comes before Asia, no? Alphabetically. We will have Europe. That will come last. We already saw that. We will have Africa. It will come first. Australia. Okay, this will be the order. So for me, Africa will be sub-0. America will be sub-1, for example. Asia will be sub-2. Australia will be sub-3. And Europe will be sub-4. So the first false mean that for now I've not found the first African country. And I will replace the false with a value when we find the first African country, no? So at the beginning we have 5 false saying that we have not found the first African, we have not found the first American, the first Asian, the first Australian, and the first European country. And we'll have what? We'll have country, another array. We can put here, need 5 to put 5 value also. So here we are going to put, for example, the empty string 5 times. For I in, or we can put empty, which means that for now, we have not put the name of the country. And as soon as we find a country, we update population and country. Okay, so what should we do? We are going to read the first line. The file is already open. So do you remember how we read a line? There is a function that is called read line. It will read the whole line. So after I read the line, what should I do? Look, I'm going to do it here. I'm going to put F, open, countries, .txt, is .txt the file? Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, countries.txt. .txt. If I don't specify the mode, it will be read. So I don't need to specify this read, no? Okay, I open the file. Now I'm going to read the first line. So f.read line. And it will bring USA because the first line is USA. So if I look at line, I have USA, Washington, US dollar, the population, the superficie in square kilometers on the continent. What should I do with that? And we have, we have an enter here. I need to remove, for example, this enter. How can I remove this enter? So when you have a string, look at this string, for example. If I want to remove the right space that are at the beginning and at the end, there is a method that is called strip in Python. Look at strip will remove any right space that is at the beginning, not in the middle, and at the end. So what we listen by right space are right spaces, tab, and new line. So this is a new line. So this strip will remove it. So what should I do here in my program? I read a line, I strip it, which means that I remove any character at the beginning or at the end that are right character. Okay, so I have the line. Now what should I do? So look, for example, if I take line and I do line dot strip, we will not have the enter anymore. Look at the line now. It doesn't have the enter anymore. How do I get America? Or how do I get US dollar? So you can define a list and do line dot split. So there is a split method. And when you are going to split, you have to specify that you split with the comma. So LST will be a list where we have the country in sub 0, the capital in sub 1, up to the continent. So look now, we have a list. You see? So sub 0 is the country, sub 1 is the capital, sub 2 is the currency, sub 3 is the population, sub 4 is the superficie in square kilometers, and sub 5 is the continent. So what can I do here is, for example, define data and do line dot split, and the separator is a comma. Okay, so what should I do? Yeah, maybe it's better to do here a while line is different of empty line. Why? I still have more country. So what should we do? We strip, we remove the enter, we get the data, and what should we do here? So if it's a country that I have not discovered, if it's a continent that I have not walked with it for now, how do I know if it's a continent that I have not walked with it for now?
Wouldn't it be if there's not one in the country list, like if it hasn't appeared in the country list yet?
So let's say, for example, that the continent is Africa. How do I know that is the first time that I am picking up a line with Africa? In population sub-Africa, I will have what? I will have false. And in country sub-Africa, I will have what? I will have empty. So it's the way to know it, no? So look what we can do also here. We can define some constant. For example, Africa is 0. America is 1. Yeah, we are going to need to transform a string into an index. So what do you think we can do? For example, if I give you the string Africa, I want to return 0. Do you know how to get help on list? This way. So look, there is way to know if an element is inside a list. How can we know? For example, if I have this list, 12, 67, -9, and 33. How do I ask if, for example, 67 is in the list? How do I ask if 33 is in the list? How do I ask, for example, if 100 is not in the list? Okay, so you can use the in operator. Now, how do I ask what is the position of 67? For example, the position of 67, the first position, is index 0, is index 1. So how can I ask? Let me show you the help again. You see this index? So we have the index. So what should I write here? If I want, for example, 12 is in the list, and I want to know the index of 12 is 0. So I show you the help again. There is a method that is called index. Here is the method. So I put index and between parentheses the value that I'm looking for. So for example, if I have this list, I can ask where is 12? 12 is in position 0. Where is 67? 67 is position 1. Where is 33? In position 3. So we could have done what? We could have done a list like, for example, Africa, then we have America. Let me put just the first 3. Asia. And if I ask what is the index of, for example, America, so we can create a list that make it a little easier for us. Okay, the list that is called LST. And we are going to put all of them inside. So let me copy this line better. So we are going to put Africa, America, comma, Asia, comma, Australia, comma, and Europe. Okay, so what should I do here now that I have this list? How do I know the continent? Let's define the continent. It will be where? In data sub 5. Remember, sub 0 will be the country. Sub 1 will be the capital. Sub 2 will be the currency. The population, sub 4. Sub 5, sub 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sub 5 will be the continent. So here I have the continent. So let's check if we already have the continent. So what can we do? If we don't have the continent, we have to add data for this continent. So what can I say? How do I get the index of the continent? Index will be what? I have this list that I define for that, no? LST.index of what? Exactly, of continent. Correct. Okay, now that I have the index, let me check if we already have data. How do we know if we already have data? Population sub index continent is equal false. We don't have data for this continent for now. So we are going to put data for the first time. What should we do to put data for the first time? So in population sub-index, we are going to put the name of the country, sub-index continent. How do we get the name of the country? It is in data sub 0. You remember the name of the country is data sub 0. Okay, so I put in population sub index continent, I put the name of the country. Now I need, here, sorry, I need to put the population, so it's not data sub 0. We have another array that is called country. Here it's country, sorry. In country, here we are going to put data sub 0. Okay. And in population, I'm going to put data sub what? Sub 0, sub 1, sub 2, sub 3. But can I put data sub 3? Just data sub 3? It will be a string. I need to convert it to an integer. Now I have the population. Okay, so if I didn't have data for the continent, I create data for the first time for this continent. Okay, what will we do in case that we already have data? We already have data. We have to see if this country that we find is more populated than the country that we have for this continent. So else if what? So I need to see the population of this country that I just got. Where is the population of this country? It is there, isn't it? So if the population of this country is bigger than the population that I have for this continent, the population that I have for this continent is here, isn't it? So if it is the case, I'm going to update the data for the continent, isn't it? So I'm going to do that. And that's it. Then at the end, I can show the result. For each continent, I can show what is the country that is more populated and what is the population. So let's do for example, continent in LST. What should we do? Print the data. So we are going to print the data. So we want to print it well. So let's do it. We're going to print, for example, the continent. It will be a string. So %s, saying that I'm going to show a string. And let's show this string, for example, over 20 characters. Then, so I show first the continent. Then I show the country of 20 characters also. Then I show the population, which is an integer of, let's put also over 20 characters. So the first one will be what? I want to show the continent. Then I want to show what? The country. So it will be country sub what? Index continent, no? So I need to get it. So before I do that, I need to get the index. So with this, we can get it. I need a third value, which is the population. It will be in population. Okay, it's long, so instead of index continent, let's just call it index cont. So index cont here, still long. Index cont, just call it index. So index, and here it will be index. Okay, I think it's okay. Our program, let's try to run it. So the file is called most populated, and we are going to give the country. There is an infinite loop here. What did we miss here? After reading the first line, we need to read the next line. So we forgot that. Read the next line, no? Okay. Definitely Asia. This is the population of Asia. Germany is the most populated, correct. In Australia, Australia is the most populated. In Africa, we saw that Ethiopia was the most populated. So we have the information, no? Let's say that instead of showing those data here over 20 space, and they are right aligned. I want to left align them. So the result is a little better. Left align is with a negative at the beginning. Left align. Let's see. Now we will see it now. Left align. Left align. Yeah, it will come after, which is not a good idea to have it now. So if I want, okay, I have it, no? If I want Africa, colon, and I still want 20 characters, what can I do here? I can still manage it. I can do it well. Okay, is it okay? So of course you have very powerful tools in your hand, no? It's what I want to show you. And when you have to manipulate tables or small database, you can do it. Okay, I want to see some slides today. Let me go and search for it. Okay, here. We are going to see how to create user, how to manage the file system also, basic management of file system. Okay, so there are many commands that we have seen already, but we have not talked formally for this command. So let's do it today. So this is common to all Unix-like operating system, no, which are a lot. Linux is a Unix-like operating system. So if you want to create a directory, there is a command that is called makedir. We have been creating directories, so I've been using this command makedir. It will create a directory. If you want to remove a directory, there is another command that is called mrdir for remove directory. When you remove a directory, it has to be empty. If it is not empty, you cannot use the command remove directory. It's a security reason, because removing a directory, it's removing many information. The move command will allow us to do what? To rename a file or to rename a directory, or to move it to a different location. And when we will specify a path, we can work with a related path or an absolute path. So relative paths are the one that maybe I start from the home directory, from my home directory, or maybe I start from my actual directory. Absolute path, I start from the root, from the // no? Okay, the cp command will allow me to copy a file or to copy a directory. If I'm going to copy a directory, I need to use this option, -r, for recursive. So it will copy the whole directory. What they say here. Okay, so remove is to remove a file. I can also remove a whole directory using the option -r. Remove there is to remove just one directory. It has to be empty. Okay, it has to be empty. Now, remove -r is very dangerous. Very, very dangerous, because remove -r allow you to remove a whole directory. So be careful. You might have a lot of information in the directory, no? So use this with caution. So this is the command that we have seen. Okay, I want to talk about, let me see. The find command is very powerful. I skip it for now. The path, symbolic link, hard link, let me skip all this. I want to go through the users. So to create users, there is a command that is called add user. And it will guide us in the creation of the user. For example, it will ask us the full name of the user. It will ask us the password of the user. And the logging of the user. We can put the logging when we execute the add user command. We also have groups in Unix. And a user is at least in one group, but it can belong to several groups. So for example, this change group It's a command that will allow you to change if you have a file or a directory. This file, by default, belongs to a user, and also it is owned by a group. So if you want to change the group who own the file or the directory, you can use the command change group. If you want to change the user who owns a file or a directory, you can use the command change OWN for change owner. See, what should I say? Okay, there are some commands that are interesting, like the ID command. The ID command will tell you who you are. So it will give you your username and the list of group that you belong to. I can use the command who am I. It will show me also information of my user, my actual user. And there is a command that is groups, will show me all the groups that I belong to. Okay, so there is something that is for each file or each. When I say file, it's a term that means it can be a file, it can be a directory, it can be a symbolic link, it can be, for example, a character special file, a block special file. I will just say directory. Yeah, I will just say file. Now, if I say a normal file, I really mean file. So a directory for me is a file. A symbolic link for me is a file. A character special file for me is a file. A block special file for me is a file. Okay, we have 3 rights. And those rights are read, write, and execute. So the way that we specify read is with a R. Write will be specified with a W. And execute will be specified with a X. And the mode is done with the right of the user, the right of the owner, I should say, the owner user, the right of the group, and the right of the other users. So look, this is the mode. So look at, we have read, write, execute for the user. I can read, I can write, I can execute for the user. We have read, write, execute for the group. So the file will belong to a group. And we have read, write, execute for the other users. So what does it mean? That, let's see at the level of a file, a plain file, a normal file. What does it mean that I have the read write? It means that I can see the content of the file. So I can use command like cat, grep, more, less. I can read the content of the file. What does it mean write? Write means that you can change the content of the file. You can write inside the file. You can execute write command inside the file. For example, if you do echo ABC and you redirect ABC into file.txt, you need the W write to be able to do that. Because you are writing inside the file. You are changing the content of the file. And execute will allow you to execute a file. So if it's a binary file, you just need the execute write. You don't need any other write. Now, if it's a script, a Python script, or for example, a bash script, you will need the read and execute write if you want to execute a script. Okay, what does it mean that I have dash, dash, dash? It means I don't have the read, write, execute permission. So I have no permission on a file. If I just have the R, which means that the W is in dash and the execute is in dash, I can only do read operation in the file, which means that I can only see the content of the file. If I don't have the read write, but I have the write and I don't have the execute write, I can change the content of the file. So for example, I can do commands like that. We change the content of the file. If you don't have the read, you don't have the write, you just have the execute write. If the executable file is a binary file, you can execute the file. Now, if I have the read write, if I have read write and I don't have execute, I can read the content of the file and I can modify the content of the file. If I have read execute, I can read the content of the file. I can execute the file. In both cases, a script or a binary file. If I have the tree write, I can do whatever with the file, which means I can see the content. I can modify the content. If it's an executable, I can execute the file. So there are some commands to change the rights. So let's do a small practice to understand all that. So look, I'm going to switch as the root user. And look at the command ID. It shows me that my user ID is root, and I belong to the group root. This is my primary group, and this is the list of groups that I belong. So I belong just to one group. Look, for example, if I come back here I am the user Eric. So look, it says your user ID is Eric. Your primary group is Eric. And Eric belongs to all those groups. So Eric belongs to the group Eric. It belongs to the group CD-ROM. It belongs to the group floppy, to the group sudo, to the group audio, deep, video, plug dev, and net dev. This is my primary group. And I can change my primary group. There is a command that is called new group. Let's say that I want to go to the CD-ROM group. CD-ROM. If I type now ID, look at my primary group is CD-ROM. Of course, I still belong to the same groups, but I change my primary group. I can change it again. Let's say that I want to go to audio. I want my primary group to be audio. Look, I'm still a user Eric. My primary group is audio, and I belong to all these groups. Let me go back. Okay, I came back. My primary group is Eric again. So you have the command groups that will show the list of groups that you belong to. So each group have an ID. For example, the group Eric, it's ID 1000. The group CD-ROM, its ID is 24, etc., etc. No? So the command groups show you the group, all the group that I belong to. Okay, so let me see. Here I'm the root. I'm going to go to the temp directory. The temp directory is where we create temporary file that we need to execute some application. And they are removed after executing the application. In this machine, I have two users. The root user, which is the administrative user, and a user that is Eric, which is a user with limited privilege. So there is a directory, which is the home directory. Every time that I'm going to create a user, it will have a directory in this home directory. So let me say show me the content of the home directory. No, show me the content of the home directory. There is only, in this moment, one normal user. So let's create some users with the add user command. I'm going to create a user that is called John. So that will be the username, John. This is an interactive script that will ask me the information of John. So look, it's saying we are adding a user that will be John. The user ID is 1001. We also create a group with the same name, John. That will be the home directory of John. And it's asking me what will be the password of John. To make it easy, let me just type John, so I don't have to memorize anything. But this is, of course, a very bad practice. So it's tell me what is the full name of John. Let's put John, for example, MacArthur. MacArthur. Okay. If you want to put the room number where John works, I don't want to put it. The phone number in the office, number, and other information. I don't want to put all this. Is this information correct? You can say yes, no. If you want to change something, you say no. Yes, I create a user. So I have a new user. Let me look. So we have a user that is called Eric, and now we have a new user that is called John. Let me create another user. Let's create, for example, 3 users. Sally. So let's put as password Sally. Sally, confirmation. Sally. Let's put Sally Johnson. Room, work phone number, home phone number, others. You want to create a user, is this correct? Yes. So now I have another user, which is called Sally. And let's create a third user. With 3 users, we can do a lot. For example, Betty. So let's put Betty as password, Betty, to keep it easy. The full name, for example, will be Betty, let's say Betty Carter. The office number, the work phone number, the home phone number, other information. Okay, everything is correct. So now I have 3 users. Okay. Let me create a file. I come back here where I am root. In this window, I am root. Try. Okay. So let's create a file. I'm going to do echo hello in a file that we will call, for example, file01.txt. That will be the content of the file. Let me create another file, file02.txt. Let's put hello in Spanish inside. Let me create another file, file03.txt. Let's put hello in French. So I have 3 files, and since I create them, I was the user root that belong to the group root. These 3 files, 0. Here is the information of this. Oh, I was the user Eric. Oh, I create them here. So I wanted them here. So let me bring them here. From the directory of Eric, there are files that are called file 0 something. They are in the desktop. So desktop file 0 something. Okay, those 3 files, bring them here. Yeah, so they belong to the user Eric for now, because it's the user Eric who created them. I'm going to change that. I am the root, I have all the power. So let's say that I want this file to belong to Sally. In this moment, it belongs to Eric. This is the owner, and this is the group of the file. So the owner of the file and the group of the file. So I want the owner to change to Sally. So there is a command that is called change owner. The new owner is going to be Sally for the file 501.txt. You see the command? So now if I look at the file, this file belongs to Sally, does not belong to Eric anymore. Let's say that I also want to change the group. I want this to be in the group Sally, not in the group Eric. So there is a command that is called change group. So change group Sally file 01. Okay, let's see the list of files. Look what I've done. So file 1 belongs to Sally, and the group that owns this file is the group Sally. Let's change the information of file 2. I want it to belong to, I create a user that is, let's see the list of users that we have. We create John, Sally, and Betty, it was that? Let's see. John, Sally, and Betty. Okay. So I want this to belong to Betty in the group John. So I can type 2 commands, but I also can type just 1 command, change on. I want it, for example, to belong to Betty in the group John. I want file 2, file 02. Okay. So look, that's the user that I want to specify for this file, the new user and the new group. So as you can see, file 2 now belongs to Betty in the group John. Okay, let's do, for example, for file 3, let's do let's see if we really need 3 files. So this is the mode. The mode is 9 characters. So the first 3 characters is related to the owner of the file, which is Sally in this case. So Sally on this file can read, can write, but cannot execute. Then the 3 mod or the 3 write that come after, we have read dash dash. So we have read, we don't have write, we don't have execute. They correspond to the group. On the last 3, read, we have read, we don't have write, we don't have execute. This correspond to other users. So the first 3, the owner, then the next 3 in the middle, the group, and the last 3, the other users, as we saw in the slides, no? In the slides where they were saying that. Look, users, user, group or owner, group, others. So let's understand that. First of all, I want to show you how we can change this rights. So there are many ways to change this right. We have used the command change mode because this is called the mode. You can change the mode with the command change mode. So you can use an octal number of 3 octal. For example, if I put 777, 4501. What does 7 in binary will be? 111, which means that I want 111 here. So I want the 3 rights. What will be this 7b? 111. It means that I want 111 here. I want the 3 rights. On the last 7, it will be the one that corresponds to other user. So the first 7 correspond to the owner. Then the second 7 to the group. Then the last 7 to the other user. So if I do that, and I look the right on 501, we will have read, write, execute 3 times. You see? Read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute. Let's say that I want, for example, read, write, execute, nothing, read, write, execute. So nothing for the group. What can I do? Nothing is 0. 0 will be 0, 0, 0. So look, we have for the user or the owner, we have read, write, execute. For the group, we have no rights. And for the other users, we have read, write, execute. Okay? Let's say that I want read, write, execute. Read, read. Just read for the group and read for the other user. How can I change that? So if I want to read here, I need what in binary? I need 100, isn't it? And 100 is what? 4. Or if I want read here and I just want read here, I say 4 for the group, 4 for the other users. Let's see the result. So as you can see, for the owner, we have read, write, execute. Just read for the group. Just read for the other user. So if I do, for example, let's do 5 here. Let's do 2. What will be the result? Let me do here 3. 3 will be what? 0, 1, 1. So if I put 3, for the user, I will have what? W and X, isn't it? Okay, 5 for the group. What is 5 in binary? 1, 0, 1. So I will have read and execute. And for the other user, what is 2? 0, 1, 0. I will just have write. So let's see. So 3 is 0, 1, 1. So 0, 1, 1, which means I don't have read, I have write and execute. Then 5 is 1, 0, 1. So I have read, I don't have write, but I have execute. I have read, I don't have write, but I have execute. And the last octal is 2, which is 0, 1, 0. So I don't have read, but I have write, and I don't have execute. So you understand? We put an octal number. The first octal digit corresponds to the owner. This will be the owner. This will be the group, the 5 here. And this will be the others. So if I do that, what does it mean? I will have dash, 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 no rights for the owner, dash, 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 no right for the group, dash, 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 no right for the others. Look at. So the first dash, 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 then the other dash, 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 then the other dash, dash, dash. Okay? So another way to do the same thing is you don't want to use binary. So you can say, I want for the user, I want, for example, read. For the group, I want, for example, execute. And for the other, I want read and execute. You can do that also. Look at. So we say for the user, we just want read. Look at the user, just read. Then we say for the group, we just want execute. So if you look at the information of the group is here. Then we say for the other user, we run read execute. So if you look the other user, they have read execute. So you can specify things like that. Oh, look at what I can do. I can just, instead of specifying the tree, I can just say, oh, I just want to modify the groups. And for the groups, I want read, write, execute, for example. So in this moment, the group have nothing, execute. So after executing this command, I'm going to affect only the group. So look at, I didn't change the owner. I didn't change the other users. I just affect the group. And something that you can do, for example, let's say that I just want to remove this right. You can say, for example, for the group, remove the W right for the group. So it will just remove this right. So when I look, I've just changed this one. If I want to add it again, plus, it came back. So you can do, for example, this is what I was doing all the time. I was doing user plus execute. Now you can do, for example, user plus execute. You can say, for example, group plus execute and write. Let's put write and execute. You see? So the user in this moment doesn't have the execute right. It will have it. Okay, the group already have them. We will not see change. But I can specify command like that, no? So the change, I ask to add the execution right to the user, and we have it now. We didn't have it previously. Of course, maybe I should have done something like that. Remove this to right to the group. And for example, add the W right to the user. So let's see. I did add the W right to the user. It was not there before. Now it is there. And for the group, I removed the W and X right. So look at before, I have the W and X right. After, the group don't have the W and X. Okay, you see it's very powerful command. So we can work with binary or we can work with those symbols. So you can also do, for example, so you have user, group, others. So for example, here the others, let me remove the execute for the others. So I can do remove the execute for the others. And if I look, we don't have it anymore. It was there before I execute the command. You also have, for example, all. I can say, give the execute right to all, which means that, okay, the user already have the execute right, so it will just be confirmed, but it will add it here and add it here, that we don't have it. So look at the result. Here it just confirmed it because we already have it, but here it added it, and here also. So you can use the A for all. Of course, you can do things like, it's very, very powerful. You can say, for example, For the user and the group, I want to remove the execution right. So look at the execution right, the user have it, and the group have it in this moment. Let's see. So the user lose the execution right, and the group lose the execution right. Okay? So let's understand that. Let me do things like that. Change mode 700 file 01.txt. For 02, let me put 07, and for 03, let me put 007. So what we will have is what? For file 1. We'll have for the user, read, write, execute. None, 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 none. For file 2, we will have for the group, read, write, execute. No write for the user, no write for the other user. And for file 3, we will have read, write, execute for the other users. So let's verify that. Look, 7 here, 7, 7. Okay? So I'm going now to simulate that I'm going to enter as Sally. Ask me the password of Sally, let me type Sally. Look at, if I ask who I am Sally. And I belong to a group that is called Sally. Let me go to the temp directory. So let's understand what does it mean. Can Sally see the content of this file? Can Sally see the content of this file? Can Sally see the content of this file? So look at this file say the user Sally have this right. This file say here a user that is not Sally but belong to the group Sally will have this right. And this say that if I am not the user Sally and I don't belong to the group Sally, this is the right that will apply to me. So I ask you, can Sally see the content of file 1? Can Sally type the command and will be this successful? Is this command is going to be successful for Sally? So yes or no? In this file we have hello, as you remember. So will I see hello on my screen, or will I see a message that say I don't have the rights? So let's see. Here I am Sally. In this window I am Sally. I'm the user Sally. So Sally is the owner of this file. So to execute this command, I need the R, the read write. So Sally do have the read write. So of course this command is going to be successful, no? So Sally can see the content. Now, can Sally see the content of this file? So let's see. Betty, the user Betty, have no right on the file. All the users that belong to the group John and are not Betty will have those rights. So Sally have which right on this file? If I look at the right of Sally, should I look here? Should I look here in the user or the owner? Should I look here in the group, or should I look here? So for Sally on this file, which 3 rights will apply? The user, the group, or the other? So of course, Sally is not Betty. So this one will not apply to her. Now, the group of this file is John. Sally does not belong to the group John. Sally belongs just to one group, which is the group Sally. So for me to have those rights, I need to belong to the group John. Do I belong to the group John if I am Sally? No, I don't belong to the group John. So my rights will be those one. Can I see the content of file 2? What do you think? If my right is this one. So look at, here we have read. I don't have the read right. So I cannot see the content of this file. Permission denied, as you can see. Now, let's see the third file. I am Sally. On the third file, what is my rights? I will apply this to me, the first three, which is user or owner, the next three, which is group, or the last three. Come on, tell me.
It'd be the last three.
Of course, because this first three is only for user Eric. Sally is not the user Eric. They are two different users. Now, this three is for the user that belong to the group Eric and that are not Eric. Sally does not belong to the group Eric. So Sally fall here. So Sally will be able to see the content of file 3. As you can see. Okay? Okay, now let me enter as the user John. So let me show you. I am John, and I just belong to one group, which is the group John. John. I can type the command groups. I just belong to the group John. So of the three files, which one John will be able to see?
The file 2 and the file 3.
So let's see. If I am John for file 1, they will apply those rights to me. I don't have read permission. Now, for file 2, they will apply this right to me because I belong to the group John. So they will apply this right. So I can see, because I have the read right, I can see file 2. And for this file, I will be in others. Yes, so I can see file 2 and file 3. So let's check that. Let's check that we cannot see file 1, the content of file 1. Oh, let me go to the temp directory because they are in the temp directory. Cat file 01.txt. I don't have the permission. On the 2, I have the permission. On the 3, I have the permission. Okay? Let's see now. I'm going to connect as Betty. Password is Betty. Let me verify. As you can see, I am Betty. I just belong to the group Betty. Let me go to the temp directory. So which file Betty will be able to see? Only the third one. isn't it? Oh, sorry. Yeah, only the third one. Why? Let's see the first one. Betty in the first one is not Sally, and Betty don't belong to the group Sally. So those are my rights on the first one. I don't have rights. On the second one, I am user Betty. Those are my rights. I cannot see file 2. I cannot see the content of file 2. On the last file, this will be my rights. I can just see the content of file 3. So if we type the command, permission denied, and I can see it. Okay, so let me show you something. We can put, for example, the group here is John. We can put Sally to belong to the John group. So Sally in this moment, let me connect as Sally. Exit here and go back as Sally. So I am Sally. I just belong to one group. I want to add Sally in the group John. There is a group that is called John. I want to add Sally in the group John. So to do that, we have a command that is called user modify. Add to the group John, add the user Sally. So now if I ask, give me the information of the user Sally. So look, Sally now belongs to two groups. She belongs to her own group and she belongs to John. You see? So this is the primary group of Sally, and Sally belongs to two groups. So now, we go back. I enter as Sally. I ask my ID. I belong to the group John and I belong to the group Sally. What file she will be able to see? So let's see. Can Sally see the file? Yes or no? What is the right that are going to be applied to Sally? So I am the owner. So the right that are going to be applied is this one. Yeah, I can see file 1. Now, on the second file, Betty is the owner. So this does not apply to me because I'm Sally. Now, do I belong to the group John? Yes, I belong to the group John. Sally now belongs to the group Sally and the group John. So since I belong to the group John, this time I will be able to see the content of file 2. I was not able before to see the content of file 2, but now I will be able. And will I be able to see the content of file 3? Yes, because I'm in the other users. So I will see file 2 and file 3. So let's check that. File 01.txt. I can because I am the owner of the file. Oh yes, so I am going to see all the file. Now, can I see file 2? Yes, because I belong to the group John. Now, can I see file 3? Yes, because I belong to the other users. I belong to the other users. I can see inside. Okay, so you understand? So let's say that the right are the following. Read, nothing, execute, read, nothing, 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 nothing. The owner of the file can do what? Of the file. If we have this right. So the owner is here, no? The owner is this tree right. So the owner can do what?
Read and execute.
Read and execute. Okay. The member of the group, except the owner. Because if I am the owner, I apply this right. So the member of the group will have what? Just the read permission. And the other user, which means that we exclude the owner and we exclude the member of the groups, will have no rights, as you can see. Okay, you understand what it means? So, look, I'm going to change to see if you understand well. I'm going to change the right on the file, file 01. So, I'm going to say the user have no right. And the group have all the right. Change the file 01.txt. So at the end, it will have zero, it will have no, none, 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 read, write, execute, none, none, none. Okay? Here it is. If Sally tries to see the content of this file, what will happen? Can she see the content of this file? Here, I am like Sally. Can I do cat file 01.txt? So on this file, what are my rights on the first file? If I am the user Sally. I'm the user Sally and I do belong to the group Sally. What is my right on this file?
Technically be no rights since it's group minus the owner and Sally is the owner.
So since I'm the owner, my right will be the right of the owner. So what will be applied to me is this. This does not apply to me, even if I belong to the group Sally. Why? Because I am the owner. If I am the owner, what applies to me is the owner. We don't look the other one. Now, if I am not the owner and I do belong to the group, what applies to me is the group. If I'm not the owner, I don't belong to the group, what applies to me is other. So Sally do belong to this group. But since she is the owner, what is going to be applied is the owner group, the owner rights. She cannot see the content of this file. Because since she is the owner, the rights will be here for her. Now, any user that belongs to the Sally group, except Sally, will have those rights. Okay? So Sally cannot see this file. She cannot see this file because her right is here. Even if she belongs to the group Sally, we will not apply these rights because first we try with the owner. If we are not the owner, then we try with the groups. If we don't belong to the group, then we go to others. But only one of the three will apply to me. The first one where I have a match. And the match is in this order. If I'm the owner, so I look the right that I have as an owner. If I'm not the owner, but I do belong to the group, the rights that correspond to the group. If I'm not the owner and I don't belong to the group, the right that correspond to others. Okay. So we will continue with that on Tuesday that we have class. We'll keep seeing the rights. Of course, because it's very important to understand what are my rights. If I create a user, how do I limit the access of the user in the system? Okay, since this is the operating system for server, and we are working as computer science, we need to know this operating system. So we are going to keep going and learn more on users, groups, rights in the next classes. Okay, see you next week. Thank you.